and good morning again. What is this, like 5 videos in the span of a week and a half or something? I'm not going back to daily, I promise. Just turning on the camera today for a bit of an update. After my selling my Panasonic gear video, I had a lot of back and forth with you guys in the comments. I had a lot of back and forth in here, and I did come to a few decisions, actually thanks to a lot of you guys in the comments. First and foremost, I did end up selling off the Panasonic G7 and the GX850 to Amazon, and actually the Olympus Ultra Tough waterproof camera, because the last vacation we went on and other ones before that, I haven't been taking it. Putting it up side by side with the GoPro Hero 5, it just wasn't all that amazing. The lens on the GoPro is much wider, and the GoPro has a lot of other options in terms of being able to crop in on itself, and the GoPro does 4K, which I'm not using, but still, it was just a better option for me than the Ultra Tough camera because I wasn't using it. And the funny thing is, even though I just bought the Ultra Tough camera last year, it's like $280 or $290 when you want to buy one. I got it for $230, and it was right at about $200 in trade-in. So I essentially rented a camera for like $30 for a year or so. Can't complain. But the reason that I'm turning this on today, aside from just giving a little bit of an update, is I think I'm gonna end up going to Best Buy after I go into work today. That's why I've got the backpack on, I'm going to work. And I'm gonna go take a look at the Sony RX10 Mark III. I kind of cringe to even say that because that's like a $1,400 camera, $1,500 to $1,600 regularly, but Best Buy has it on sale. And one of you guys in the comments, I think it was Jocko, mentioned that you have the RX10 Mark III and that you absolutely love it. I looked at it and it's like 24 to 600 millimeter zoom, and then it's got clear zoom on top of that. That would be amazing for all around, basically f2.4 at 24 millimeters to f4 anywhere above 100 millimeters. Ridiculous. It's a much larger, much heavier camera, doesn't have the ultra wide angle like I have on the 6300 here, but if I'm going to a baseball game, if I'm going to going on a cruise or going to Disney like we're doing later this year. Oops, did I mention that? I haven't mentioned that yet. It just sounds like a better overall all-around camera. So I'm gonna go check it out, maybe take the card in from this camera and do some sample footage from it. Other than that, time to start the day. Now I completely expect that I'm going to get the question, why not just go with a better lens for the A6300? You've already got that camera. I've seen comments, actually one just came in a few minutes ago asking about the 18-105. That's an f4 lens. That lens is about $600 new, and you're putting it onto another body, and even still that lens is not going to be wide enough for the grand majority of what I want to do. The funny thing is, to even roughly equate to what you get with that bridge camera, the RX10 Mark III, you'd have to have a 16 to 400 millimeter lens, and I'm pretty sure that Sony doesn't actually make one of those. And even if they did, it would be a gigantic lens, and it would be probably not f2.4 to f4. It would be like 3.5 to 6.3 or 5.6 to 6.3 or something silly like that, and it would probably be every bit of $1,300 to $1,500 because I think I looked at the 18 to 200, which is still a very good range, not quite wide enough for me, but pretty decent, and the 18 to 200 is like an $850 lens, and that's to get anywhere close to what I currently have or what I could potentially get for about $1,400. What's really starting to concern me here is that it's starting to rain. The A6300 is not weather sealed. My phone is though, so the absolute worst case scenario, I can switch over to using my phone if I'm out and about doing stuff. But that is part of the reason why I do have this with me today, the 55 to 210 millimeter lens, still well within the return period. It's been like 2 weeks and I've used it maybe 2 or 3 times, shot a few photos with it, shot a couple of videos, as you saw in the last vlog. I've done a little bit more than that, a lot of test shots and stuff. Maybe I'll pop some of those up here. I took Yoda out back just to do some portrait stuff with him. Ridiculous. That lens is absolutely amazing, but if I can get $200 back for it and then put that $200 toward a $1,400 camera that can do much, much better, that seems like a much more worthwhile option rather than having spare glass around that I'm not going to be using. I did also forget to mention there, whenever I did sell off the G7 and the GX850, I did keep the 42.5 millimeter and the 20 millimeter lenses, as well as the 12 to 32. I had 2 of those, so I kept one of them because I bought it, no warranty, open box, stuff like that, and I don't have the box or anything anymore. The good thing about those are they're not brand new lenses, they're not just released, so there's no reason to get in a huge hurry to sell them because they're not losing value. And if I do decide to go with another Panasonic body, I'll immediately have a couple of good lenses for it. I'm just sort of waiting to see if during NAB or maybe at the summer, if Panasonic decides to come out with another body, maybe even an update to their FZ2500 camera, because that's the other thing I've had in mind, because it's a little bit cheaper than the Sony. It's like $200 cheaper. You get a shorter zoom range, but you do get that flip out LCD screen, which would be really, really nice. This vlog is turning more and more into just Jordan is indecisive about cameras and, well, most things in life. That should be the subtext. Jordan is indecisive about things. I also brought this chair into work with me, so we'll take that in too. Pretty quick and easy morning. Chair did all right. Time to head out. By the way, this little tripod that I got with, I think I got it with the LX100, not very good. They say that the Joby Gorilla Pods get really, really flimsy very quickly, but with the amount of weight this camera's putting on this, it's just not holding up at all. Like the top head, this is not a Gorilla Pod. This is a super cheap generic one, but it just kept like falling over. I took it into the office with me, as you saw there, and it would not stay upright. So not recommended. Get the real thing or just get a little mini tripod. I'm really tempted. There's a tabletop one. It's like a aluminum, I think it's 50 or 60 bucks. Jacqueline from Nothing But Tech was recommending it, and it's a monopod slash tripod, and it's super tiny. Tempting. And it has been done. I returned the 55 to 210 millimeter lens. There's something going on here in Louisville. All kinds of sirens and alarms and I don't know. But I returned the 55 to 210 and paid an awful lot more money for this camera. Stood there in the store, held it in my hand. It's significantly bigger than this camera that I'm filming with now, the 6300, but the zoom range, if you put any kind of zoom lens anywhere near what this can do on this camera, it's going to be $1,000 to $1,500 just for the lens, and the physical size is actually bigger than this camera. I don't know how Sony did it. I'll probably save the proper unboxing for the tech channel. As for now, because it does use the same battery and everything, I'm just going to pull the camera out. There it is. There's its lens hood. There's the camera. It is comfortable in the hand. It's big and it's bulky, and I'm probably not going to be able to use it like this, but it's worth a shot, right? So I'm going to have to transfer stuff over and we'll see how this works. Yeah, I tried putting it on this little GoPro mount. That clearly was not happening. The A6300 plus the lens and everything else was like £1.5 pounds maybe. This camera is 2.5 pounds. The A6300 was making this collapse, and yeah, it just completely fell forward. So I'll have to figure something else out, but like I said, probably will not be using this for daily vlogging, probably will not be using this for this style of video, but I just wanted to try it out. I'm not using a microphone at the moment, but I'm about to go ahead and hook this Comica microphone up using the Rode Wind muff on top of it and just plugging it directly in, so we'll give that a shot too. And now I've gone ahead and switched over to movie mode and attached the Comica microphone on the top. I switched over to the movie mode so that it would go to the proper shutter speed and everything, and so that it would show me the audio levels on the screen. Not that I can see the screen at the moment, but I could see that the audio was working appropriately. Wow, it is suddenly very windy outside. Now I'm curious. So here is the RX10 Mark III with the wind blowing directly on it and the wind blowing from behind it, and there you have it. And because it's a really common and kind of obvious thing to do, here's the zoom test. So it's very slowly zooming. You can actually change it to zoom much, much, much faster, but it just keeps going. Just keeps zooming. Just keeps zooming. And that's as far as the optical zoom will go. And you can see it's not terribly steady, but the steady shot I think is turned on, so it is helping a little bit. And I've gone ahead and set the zoom speed to fast and turned on clear zoom, so this is as fast as it can zoom in movie mode. That's significantly faster. And we just went into the clear zoom range there. So that is about as far as you're going to go with a regular zoom, and then clear zoom on top of it gets even closer. That's pretty far. And then it zooms back out decently fast as well. Not bad. I'm also really curious about the autofocusing, so if I put this up in front of the lens very quickly and then take it away, the focusing, it's supposed to be able to focus super, super closely. So there's this again, and then it goes away. So this is 120 frames a second. And we're back on the A6300. I went ahead and just put everything back in the box for right now. Figure when I get home I'll try to do a very quick video about it, although I'm at the point right now where I've got a bunch of videos that need to happen. But just very early impressions of it. One, it's super, super heavy, so I'll probably be using it on a tripod most of the time, or a monopod or something. Like if I take it to one of Duncan's baseball games, it'll probably be on a tripod, a mini tripod, something. Two, I love that lens. It's so, so long, and it goes out to be so wide. It's nowhere near as wide as this is, obviously, but for the size of the camera and the amount that it zooms in, it's so wide. And three, I played a little bit sitting here with the high frame rate modes. The high frame rate burst, as far as I can see, is like a second or something, maybe less. So basically when you hit the button, you better have whatever it is in focus and moving, otherwise you're gonna miss it. So I'm gonna give that a shot, like maybe at Duncan's game whenever he's swinging the bat, or when the ball's coming to him to catch, or something like that. But I love the options that it's got, and I love the video and audio quality. I'll know more more whenever I get it home and actually import the files though. So lunchtime and home. A couple of thoughts occurred to me while I was on the way home here. First, of course, I keep hearing that repeat trolley comment in the background. Jordan, why do you keep buying so many cameras? Why don't you focus more on actually making good quality content? And that's an actually absolutely accurate comment, especially for this channel, because the majority of the content that I make is this. It's my face sitting here talking about stuff, and occasionally here's what my family's doing. Over on the main channel, yes, I'm generally doing more things, but at the same time, I'm sitting still in a well-lit environment, so I don't necessarily need a $1,400 camera. But I am very much at that point in my life where I can afford to do it, and so going out of pocket a little bit for a camera that will get accomplished a few things that I wasn't able to accomplish before, like taking amazing quality photos and video of the moon, I guess. Cool. But looking at it from the other side of it, there are a lot of people out there with relatively inexpensive cameras that are doing amazing things on YouTube. Nick from Trainer Tips, he's got the Sony a6000. I think he's even using the kit lens, and he's using the Sony on-camera microphone. It's a total package. It's like $600 for the camera, and then maybe $100 or so for the microphone. So $600 or $700 investment there. And it's a camera he's had for a long time. And his channel has like 600, 700,000 subscribers, and he does tons and tons of views, which does very much go to show you that it doesn't necessarily matter what equipment you're using. Use what you've got when you're getting started. So if you have ever thought about making videos, there's really not a good excuse. Don't take the excuse that I always take of I have to buy this camera, I have to have this lens. These are just wants. These are not needs. And I do have the funds. I'm not going like into debt or anything doing this. I don't purchase something until I can afford to do it. I do purchase on credit cards, but that's sheerly to have rewards and to have extended warranties. The other thing that I was thinking about on the way home, I got an email this morning that I had a package coming from UPS, which is not uncommon. I get those all the time. What threw me off though was it said click here to view this live. And I clicked on it and it took me to a map where I could actually see, physically see, where the driver was with my package at all times. I think it's a very early access beta type feature, but hopefully more and more companies will start doing this. This is the Domino's pizza, where's your pizza at kind of tracker, because that's one of the things I hate about dealing with these shipping companies is knowing when the package is going to be coming. The package today showed up at like 10:15. Most days UPS doesn't deliver until 1 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So if I could actually get eyes on with here's exactly where your package is at all times, that would be beautiful. And now I actually have to go home and get that package. And it's the next day. The unboxing video about the RX10 Mark III has gone up on the channel. So far, very good responses. A little bit of back and forth about this being a 1-inch sensor and how the crop factor and everything affects the f2.4 aperture. But just putting it side by side with the a6300 footage, yes, it's not quite as pop wow as the a6300, but the ability to go from ultra wide to ultra zoomed, I think makes this a very usable, useful camera. The office is currently in a bit of a state. Things to review, and actually a salt lamp I just picked up. Sorry if you couldn't hear me there. I'm trying to figure out the microphone on cameras like this because it's always facing this way, and when I'm behind the camera you can't hear quite so well. So I'll keep working on that, I suppose. But I picked up the Himalayan salt lamp after seeing it in a bunch of tech YouTubers videos and just loving it. But the majority of listings that I saw for it were like 5-watt bulbs or 10-watt bulbs, and this one is a 25-watt bulb, which is supposed to have the most effect. The whole point of the salt lamp, for one, is to provide ambience to look nice, but the other point is to release, I think it says positive ions into the air to help cleanse the air, so hopefully that'll do a little bit of that. Now the other thing to mention, I talked before about how I'd sold off a bunch of my Panasonic gear and was shipping it all out. I think you're too high. Well, I've continued to look around on Amazon to see what else I'm able to actually sell off, and as it turns out, a camera that I purchased in like 2012. It was my birthday present to myself back then. The Nikon J1, the Nikon 1 J1. I had 3 lenses for it. It was like my first interchangeable lens camera other than the Canon T2i. Fun little camera, but I didn't use it all that much. It's been sitting on the shelf for years. And it had trade-in value on Amazon, and I did not realize it. Even the separate lens, the third lens, had a trade-in value. So the entire system that I have is going away, which means clearing out shelves, making space for more things like this. Oops. And it's been yet another day. I don't quite know how to wrap this video up. Basically, the entire point of this was just to give you guys the update as to what I sold off and that I had picked up the RX10 Mark III. I am still filming with the RX10 Mark III, and I'm probably going to be filming a little bit more this afternoon and evening, so maybe that'll turn into a separate video. Christina's parents are in town. We're going to be going to a ball game, so if you'd like to see some of that, leave a thumbs up down below. That'll probably be a separate video using the RX10 Mark III, because I want to see how 600 millimeters works at a baseball game. But I'm here hanging out with Ellis, so I'm gonna edit this up, upload it so you guys can see the footage from the RX10. Aside from the physical size and everything, I am absolutely loving this camera. The quality, again, not quite the same as the 6300, but still really impressive stuff in that lens. So let me know what you guys think about it, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye guys.